Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. So I was teasing my girlfriend just now, and I said, "Hey, if you come upstairs, I'm gonna pull you in and put you on camera and say hi to my people." What do you guys think about that? Thumbs up if you think pulling in Erin to make a cameo guest appearance is something. I kind of want to embarrass her. um, yeah, so I hope everyone's doing great. Happy Thursday and happy Friday to some of you. Bill, I think it's Friday, right? So got a couple of thumbs ups and some yeses. Okay, good to know. There's some demand. Honestly, you guys, I keep bugging her to try and make a YouTube channel because she is so much better on camera and she's so much more personable and charismatic and she's a much better communicator. So slowly but surely I'm chipping away at that. So maybe one day I'll share her YouTube channel with you guys. So welcome. You see we got Carolyn, we got Lauren. Let's see. Big Mayo is back. What's up, Big Mayo? Francisco, Mika's Corner. I don't know if we met. Maybe, maybe not. Good to see you. Welcome. We got Sherry and Mike, and of course, Rachel, Mohith, who wants a channel review. So we're going to roast him, you guys. We're going to take the kid gloves off today. Monique. Did I already say Sherry? Hey, Sherry. We got Prodigal in the house. Dude, let's grow. I didn't know you're in Kansas. That's cool. Well, good to see you guys. Thank you for being here. What's up, Pawpaw? Mr. Kevin. Always a privilege to have Kevin show up in the chat. Good to see you. And Andrew, what's up, Andrew? So today's topic, as the live stream was labeled, was how to find your YouTube friends. I think you guys probably have a good idea of how to do this already. But if anyone ends up watching this on the replay, or if anyone's brand new to this live stream, I think this is a really good topic for anyone who's just getting started because finding people that you can collaborate with and use as support is so useful and helpful. And I can't talk enough about the community that I'm in and the people that help lift me up every single day. So I thought I would ask you guys, what are some of your suggestions for anyone out there who's new to YouTube, who maybe doesn't have people to talk to about YouTube? How would you suggest that they go out and find some YouTube collaborators, friends, support group, what have you? Curious your thoughts because I have a few things queued up, but I want to hear from you guys first. How would you encourage other people to go out and network and find other YouTube people? I think what we're doing right now is one good example of that, right? Either start a live stream or join a live stream. That's a great way. Okay, so Sherry says, I have a support group, but it's not very supportive. Sherry, is it all about YouTube or is it about other things? I'm curious. Big Mayo, Big Mayo Nation, did you just change your name? Oh, I love that name. Get involved and interact with live streams. Very cool. Very cool. Agreed. Agreed. And then look up this guy named Ty Myers. Okay, thanks, Mike. Just do a quick YouTube search for Ty Myers. I like it. I was thinking, okay, obviously you guys mentioned joining and participating in live streams. And then if you have a channel and you're kind of on your way, you can even host your own live streams. And while that might feel intimidating or daunting, or you might feel like, hey, who's even going to show up? You may be pleasantly surprised. When I first started doing live streams, I was terrified. And to be honest, I'm still a bit terrified of doing these. I always worry that no one's going to show up, even though you guys surprise me every single week. So, first of all, thank you for being here. But you never know. I mean, you might get a handful of people who really vibe with you, and then you can chit chat with them. And that's a great way to form relationships, get to know people, and learn a little bit more about your audience. Um, yeah, so we got Rachel on board to do live streaming. So, uh, yeah. So, okay, live streaming is one method. Sherry says her support group is on Discord and supposed to be for supporting each other on YouTube, but they seem to only support their friends. Everyone chat. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, this is a good point. I'm not a, well, I was going to say I'm not a huge fan of Discord, but I can see the value, especially if you're in it all day. If you're not in Discord constantly, then the conversation can move way too fast and you may be missing out on things. What's cool about Discord though is that you can, I think, set up video calls, right, Sherry? Like, do you guys ever do that in the Discord? You can set up like a quick video call. So that might be something that's beneficial. I was also thinking Reddit. For those of you who are on Reddit, I'm not, but I think that's another good resource. There's all kinds of YouTube subreddits, and you can potentially link up with people who you might think are giving good value and information and maybe pull them offline and start like a small cohort, a little mini mastermind, if you will. So that's one idea. Lauren says it's actually hard to find outside of YouTube. I get a lot of the same responses if I need an opinion. It can be frustrating. I'm glad this is a topic. Yeah, I think you make a great point. Here's another thing, you guys. Is echo chambers are a real thing. You guys know the algorithm on YouTube. If you look up any YouTube growth advice, you get flooded with like a million of the same YouTube growth videos, and my videos probably show up in there as well. But it's important to diversify your information that you're consuming to make sure that you're not just consuming the same perspectives over and over again. And I think that's why it's good to have a diverse group of people that you can talk to and collaborate with and even spar with respectfully and constructively, of course, and just looking at different places for different kinds of information to make sure that you're broadening your perspectives. Because sometimes we get force fed a lot of the same information that might not be super relevant for us. So I think that's a good observation to make. Excuse me. Monique says I'm too much of an introvert, but after engaging with self-publish, um, I met my favorite, of course, meeting up with Dale. Okay, so you physically met up with people. I did that too. One of our community members, Deb, she was in Colorado and we met. And it was we got lunch and it was just like all this was like super casual and natural. And it was like a really great way to put a real person to the name and to the face. I love that. I wish there were more people to meet up with in real life around YouTube because I think there's some real value there in having that real life connection. Prodigal mentioned commenting on long form videos. Okay. This is important because if you are getting comments on your videos, think of the and if you especially if you get thoughtful comments, just imagine for a moment the level of thought and detail that someone might be putting into crafting that comment for your own benefit on your own video. It's nice to reciprocate. It's nice to be just as thoughtful and detailed in your response. And you never know, those innocuous comments can turn into actual conversations. And then when you see the same people showing up on each video, it's a really good idea to keep fostering those relationships. Now, you might be saying, hey, Ty, well, I don't get a ton of comments on my videos. Then it might just be, your channel is still relatively small. It might be that the style of content that you make doesn't lend itself, all that great to a lot of commentary. But what you can do is you can visit other people's channels, people in your niche, people in your space that you connect with, that you like, and you can hang out in their comments. You can leave thoughtful comments on their channels. You can, start a conversation, ask people questions, get to know some of those commenters, and what you might see in return is those people come to your channel, watch your content, they become a subscriber on your channel, and then they start to leave comments. So it's almost like you have to insert yourself into the conversation, and then people will start to follow you over to your own channel. So Don, good call out on the long form video. Appreciate that. Mohit says school community has felt like a much better community than Reddit. Yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, I don't know. Do people on Reddit like get together and have group calls? Reddit seems like because there's probably a lot of anonymity with your handles and who you actually are, that people can become more abrasive or toxic much more easily than like on school. I think with school, because people are using their real names for the most part, and um, it's almost like a less anonymous place to exist, that people actually act respectfully. And then, of course, the culture of the community itself keeps the guardrails on in a way. So that's one of the reasons I like school. And we haven't mentioned school yet, but we'll talk about that here in a second. Okay, so Lauren likes Reddit. Never tried Discord. Okay, so Big Mayo is in a tight Lego group that uses Discord. There are 6 varying size channels there. It's been great to grow and support. We vote on who joins and keep it constructive. I love it. I think that's great. I think that's awesome. And it's interesting too, like how different platforms cater to different people's communication styles too. Like if you can spend a lot of time on Discord, I'm sure you can get a ton of value over it on it. Yeah. Frankie over 50. Yep. Jim over 30, Frankie over 50. Yep. I like it. It's pretty clear who your channel is for, right? Oh, thanks, Nanad. Got a little super chat there from my buddy Nanad, who's a great supporter of this channel. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate you being here. Thanks for hanging out. Over 60 now. Happy birthday, Frankie. Happy birthday. Introverts are perfect for YouTube. It's funny. I actually made a video about that, Rachel. I actually made a video about that. Oh, Lauren, thank you for the super. Appreciate you as well. I wish I could see the actual animation. I can in the YouTube app. Excuse me. A little scratchy this morning. Okay, so some of the other ideas that came up. We talked about Discord. We talked about Reddit. We talked a little bit about school. You guys ever use Facebook groups? I think it's a little cringy. I'm just going to show you for what's the word? Poops and giggles. Just so you can see what it looks like. Oh, I got to sign in. So vidIQ and also Think Media have these enormous Facebook groups for YouTube. And I hope I don't have to do 2-factor authentication. Let's see. And they're great because they're big, but the bigness is the drawback because you really can't, I don't think you can connect with people very easily in those groups. Oh geez. Okay, you guys, this is a pain in the ass. You can tell how often I sign into Facebook. Okay, stand by. Talk amongst yourselves. Where's the code? There we go. So I'll just show you really quickly what the VRA Facebook group looks like. For anyone who hasn't signed up for VRA, this might be a good little, just sneak behind the curtain. This is their Facebook group. It looks super clean. They got almost 18,000. Oh, hold on. I'm not sharing my screen. I'm an idiot. Here's the Facebook group. You guys can see this, right? So they do a good job of keeping it up to date. They have a lot within VRA. They have a lot of different like weekly touch points where they host different calls for VRA members, which is nice. And you can learn stuff and like hear other people's journeys and like get tips and stuff like that. But they have like 18,000 members in here. VRA has been going on for many, many years. So it just kind of collects people. The problem is sometimes, I don't know, it's just like the quality of the interactions aren't super great. It's not like an intimate community like you would get on school, right? Or you'd get in like a private Discord server. But there are benefits to it. You could post questions, you could, put a thumbnail in here and get feedback on it. And then of course, if you're really immersed in joining all their group calls, you can get to it from here as well. So this is just to give you an idea of what the VRA one looks like. vidIQ has one too. Do you guys know that? They have almost 23,000 members. It's ginormous. And vidIQ also has a Discord server, in case you didn't know. I think they have 2 Discord servers. One is free and one I think is for people who sign up for vidIQ Boost. And I would suspect, because of who vidIQ usually talks to in their videos, that it's going to be mostly younger people, people who do a lot of gaming content. So your mileage might vary when you're in these Discord or Facebook groups. You might not be speaking to people who are making similar content to you. So, but I think it's good to know that these things are there in case you are interested. I prefer a much smaller group myself, and that's why you guys hear me talk about school all the time, and I just won't shut up about it because I think it's a much simpler version of like a private Facebook group. And you can keep it nice and small and tidy. And I think we have really good conversations in here. So I think there's probably folks out there that are maybe even still reluctant to join some of these groups. They might feel too introverted or like they don't know how to contribute, or maybe the technology is a little bit too overwhelming. And I get that. I think there's some merit into those concerns. But I will say Discord, well, I will say things like school are pretty simple. There's not a lot of bells and whistles to be distracted by, and you can kind of use it at your leisure. You're not compelled or obligated to communicate in any way. There of course are DMs, there's group threads, and then in my community we do group calls. So you kind of engage with whatever level you're comfortable with. But it's a good way for newer people to just get their feet wet in a YouTube community and just kind of get a feel for what people talk about, what questions they ask, and then eventually you might warm up and ask your own questions or start to engage in whatever way you feel comfortable. So I hope this is useful to see for anyone out there who's just like, I don't know how to even get started with finding people. Of course, these communities attract people from all over the world. So you're going to get a broad range of people and experience and backgrounds and interests. You might not necessarily find people local to you, and that's okay. So you're not going to really maybe make real life friends, but it's still a great way to meet virtual acquaintances and connect with them and learn from them and just overall feel better about your YouTube journey, because it can be awfully lonely and isolating. And sometimes the hardest part about YouTube is just not knowing if you're on the right track, not knowing if the things that you're working on are actually the things you should be working on. And sometimes just hearing other people's perspectives gives you some validation, gives you some confidence to know that you're moving in the right direction, or maybe that you should rethink your strategy altogether. So that's where the real value comes in. It's not necessarily learning from a guru or an expert. It's just getting some social proof or validation, if you will, to know that what you're doing actually is headed in the right direction. So I missed a lot of comments. I see we got old Mike in the chat. What's up, Mike? Simon's here as well. Hey, Simon. Good to see you. Ooh, ad revenue's going up. That's awesome. Good to hear. Let me just see what I missed, you guys. 60 plus and Sophie is back. Hello. How are you? Legos is back. What's up, Legos? Yeah, on his way home from school. Oh man, I think Legos is the youngest person that joins my live streams. Again, perspective, more perspective. And Sage Gardens and Art Studio. Sweet. Welcome. Good to have you. I don't think we met before, but good to have you here. Casual Style Drew. Happy Friday Eve indeed. All right, I'm just let me get through see who else has joined. Nicola is back. Hey, Crystal. Okay, Crystal's asking, is VRI only on Facebook? No, they're not actually. Let me show you what the actual VRA platform looks like. Give me a second here. I just have to find it. So the VRA community itself, let me know if you can see this. You guys see this? This is the VRA, like this is where all the courses are hosted. It's on Circle. So for anyone who's used Circle as a platform before, this is what VRA looks like for paying VRA members. So yeah, this is it right over here. I'm not super familiar with Circle. So if anyone else is super familiar with it, let me know in the comments what you think of it, if you like it. It seems to have a lot more functionality than a platform like School, but that also might mean there's more things and nuances and potential distractions for members to get confused by. But yeah, so here's where they have all of their different training modules. So, like VRA Foundations is one of the core pillars. And you can see they have all of these different modules in here. This is like hours and hours of video content. Some of it's kind of old. I think it's probably from like 2020, but I think a lot of the content is still relevant. Then they've got their VRA Masters, which is a lot of the same material, to be honest with you guys. They have a niche finder, camera contents. So these are all like the different video modules that Sean and team have recorded for VRA members. This probably sounds like a commercial for VRA at this point. It's definitely not, but I would say if you're brand spanking new, if you know nothing about YouTube and you really want a crash course in all the things, VRA is a good program to get into for self-paced content. I don't know that the community aspect of it is going to be all that great because I don't engage with the community at all on here. But at least the self-paced curriculum is pretty good, although again, a little bit dated. So that's just to show you where their primary course material is housed. So good question. Thank you for asking, Crystal. Oh wow, Mike. I had 3 RV related Facebook groups with over 30,000 members. That's crazy. You had 10 volunteer moderators and you gave them away a couple years ago. Man, that's wild. Um, I can't imagine that many people. And yeah, Prodigal, like I think people, I don't know. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes these groups can be not pleasant places to hang out in. People just are kind of a-holes on the internet sometimes. Jane loves to shop. Hello. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks for joining the stream. Yeah. So Lawrence joined some Facebook groups, commented, but nothing is Yeah. So it's like, if the groups get too big, it's unwieldy, it's hard to manage, and it just doesn't feel like there's a lot of real connection taking place. And I think when you have groups that big too, it's harder to like make one-on-one connections with people. And I think that's where the beauty comes in with some of these communities is like you see people interact, you see them on calls, you see them in the posts, and you really get a sense for people's, I don't know, like their character, their integrity, their trustworthiness, their credibility, and that's what attracts you to them. And then you start engaging on their comments, and then you can start DMing, and then you start to build real relationships. So, yeah, Sage Gardens is asking, where is the vidIQ creator group at? Are you talking about the Facebook group? It's facebook.com/groups/vidIQ. Um, I don't know if this one is public. You can try joining it and see what happens if you're interested. Let me just get back to the chat, you guys. Um, yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Sage, about how to access it. And then I think too, if you watch any vidIQ videos on YouTube, if you check their descriptions of the video, you might see their Discord server if you're interested in joining the Discord server. I did join, but I haven't done anything in there. Yeah, and then Frankie mentions how some of these groups can be filled up pretty quickly with spammers and scammers. We have safeguards in my community to prevent a lot of that stuff. I have a 3-question questionnaire that you have to answer, and if you don't answer it or you're light on details, I just decline you. And then also, I have some controls in place to prevent people from posting right away. Yeah, I think, Nad, you're right. There's probably some reluctance. I mean, some of these online communities probably get a bad rap, right? Because of previous experiences with Facebook groups. But the good news is there's better platforms out there now. So Big Mayo's got a question. This is an interesting one. Do you think a second account for interacting outside your niche helps with algorithm separation for niche versus general traffic? Are you talking about like when you're viewing YouTube, like when you go to youtube.com and you're kind of perusing? I hope I'm understanding the question correctly. But yes, some YouTubers will recommend creating a separate YouTube account, and that YouTube account, the sole purpose of that YouTube account is to do different searches in YouTube that would mimic your ideal customer, your ideal avatar. That way you can see what shows up in their feed, and that should give you ideas on what content to make. And that would be a different account from your primary YouTube account where you're probably searching and looking at a lot of different styles of videos. So it's like almost like creating one unique YouTube account specifically for the algorithm, um, so that it caters to your ideal target viewer, if that makes sense. Ah, cool. Okay. Well, welcome. Good to have you, Sage. First timer. Welcome, welcome. And there's Kevin again. Thank you, man. Um, yeah, thank you so much, Kevin, for being here. It's always a pleasure. Kevin's also got his own community. Kevin, how many people do you have in your community now? And his community is on a platform called Heartbeat, which looks really, really cool for anyone who's exploring options for different communities. I think it's pretty new-ish, but Kevin, I think you've got over 100 folks in there, and it's all about how to downsize your probably overpriced home that you have a mortgage on, and how to convert that to a more sustainable and smaller type of shed conversion or tiny home. But thanks so much for being here. It's good to see you. Congratulations. Kevin's about to hit 20,000 subscribers on his channel. So he is a complete boss of a YouTuber at this point. Hey, we got Rob in the house. Gosh, and I'm so like behind. So Rob, good to see you, man. I hope you had a great time with your son. Um uh yeah, hope you had a good trip. I hope you had everything went well. I really appreciate you being here. It's good to see you. Welcome back. Um Hey M, what's up? Good to see you. Hello party people. Living with Parkinson's is back. Good to see you. Any more live streams from you, sir? I think you've had a couple so far, right? I want to know how things are going with your live streams because I feel like that was a good first foray for you. Rob, hit that like button. Yeah, thanks so much. Um, yeah, Prodigal, she's downstairs. She's working right now. She's probably going to be a little shy to be on camera. She might not even be fully like presentable for the day. So we'll wait for that to happen. We have some visitors coming in from out of town today. Her brother and their kids are coming in, so we're gonna spend some time with them over the weekend. They're gonna stay here and crash with us, so that'll be fun. So we're kind of like getting the house ready and doing all the things. So, but yes, I will sneakily get her on camera at some point. Okay, so I think we covered all the things. I think we covered all of the big ways to find friends on YouTube. So, anyways, if anyone has questions, if anyone needs more clarity around any of these topics, just let me know. Happy to dig in a little bit more. So, I think it's really, really important. And it's a great way to just get more comfortable, find your voice, find your confidence, get support, all of the things. So, hey, Deb's up. Deb's in the chat. How are you doing, Deb? Good morning to you. Good to see you. And then living with Parkinson's as it relates to your live streams, he says, it's been going great for me, just waiting to do my next one. How often are you doing them? Are you trying to schedule them each week or what's the cadence look like? Be curious. Oh, we got the Rambler up in here. How are you, sir? It's been a while. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Deb, can I start over? No, you're gonna have to watch the replay, Deb. You're gonna have to watch the replay and leave a comment, hit like, and do all the fun things. Tien, good to see you. Tien, are you working? Are you? Are you ditching your boss right now? Good to have you on. So, I had another thing that I wanted to show you guys and get your take on this. We're gonna move into a segment. We're gonna call it "To Guru or Not to Guru." That is the segment. To guru or not to guru. And I think this is a kind of an interesting topic. This channel came to my attention. You guys can see this, right? This channel, it's called Jess, and her handle is Jess the Singing Gardener. Now, I don't know Jess at all. She doesn't know me. We've never interacted. Her channel was brought to my attention by someone in my comments who's in a similar niche to Jess. And when we were looking at her channel, it was almost like an example of what to aspire to. And as I was looking at Jess's channel, I noticed she's not doing any of the things that the conventional wisdom might suggest you do in order to grow your channel. So I wanted to just call out a few things that Jess is not doing. And this is not a dig. This is not like me hitting her over the head saying you're doing it wrong, because she's absolutely crushing YouTube. And I'll show you what I mean here in a second. So here is her channel page, and you can see her channel banner. Obviously, it's about like outdoor gardening and landscaping and plants and things like that. She's got a lot of videos, and they're all long form, right? She doesn't really do any shorts. She's doing all long form video. So that's an interesting strategy, number one. She has almost 19,000 subscribers, you guys. Pretty nice, pretty nice. And here's her description. So she says, real life bargain gardening, successes and failures, sharing my garden, music, and family. Okay. So, question number one, is she trying to make a lot of money through YouTube? Based on her description, probably not, because all of the links in her description link out to her family's YouTube pages. She has two brothers and a sister, and they all have YouTube pages, and she's just driving traffic to them with her description. She has no go to my landing page. She doesn't have a sign up on my newsletter. She doesn't have a buy my product. So she's not using her description at all to sell anything. And it just seems like a very family forward YouTube channel, which I really admire, because I don't come across these very often. Okay. So she's got all of these videos. What do you notice about her view count as it relates to her subscriber count? She's got almost 19,000 subs, but look at her view counts. I mean, every single video is like 10, 12, 15, 20,000 views. And you would think with that many views, she'd have more subscribers. What this tells me, and I'm just speculating here, is that a lot of her views are coming from her existing viewership, her existing subscribers. And so, what does this mean? She has a very, very loyal and tight knit community around her channel. Yes, M, you're absolutely right. Her videos are really long, very long. And she's just outside. She's showing people, probably, yeah, probably TV watchers, right? She's out there. Well, actually, we'll come back to that. She's out there in a garden, in her yard, talking about the things that are going on. Now, let's just take a look really quick. Her oldest video is from 3 to 4 years ago, right? So let's just say 4 years, and she's gotten almost 20,000 subs. So it's about 5,000 subscribers a year, give or take, which is pretty good, I think. And I'm just so impressed because when you look at her thumbnails too, and when you look at her titles, she's not doing like clickbaity titles. You know, she's not like, oh my gosh, what happened in my garden today, right? She's barely even showing her face in her thumbnails. And when you see her face, it's not like her face is really big in the thumbnail. It's not like there's a lot of like saturation going on. It's not like she's over the top with her emotional expressions. She's not really following all of the conventional rules that people talk about on YouTube on how to drive clicks. Her titles are very matter of fact, you know? Like, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm working on. And it's just so impressive to see how many views she gets on these videos. And I mean, maybe she's doing some color treatment on the thumbnails, who knows? I have no idea. But here's something else that's interesting. When you click into the video,
Hi there.
I don't know, can you guys hear the audio on this?
I am heading out to my sister's house, Plant Life Farms, and we are going to check out what kind of plant she has and just kind of visit with her.
Let me know if you get the audio from the video itself. Okay. So, for pretty much all of her videos, not all of them, but most of them, she starts her videos with this.
Hi there.
She goes like, "Hey there," or "Hi there." And it's just a very subtle repetition that she's doing in all of her videos. And I think that does something with like viewer familiarity. Like they know they're in the right spot the moment they hear, "Hey there." Now, another thing to notice is she gets look at her descriptions. What do you notice about her descriptions? I mean, there is no description. There's nothing in here. She's not stuffing tags, she's not stuffing keywords, she's not plugging her landing page, her newsletter, her product. No descriptions on any of her videos. I mean, right? Like that's kind of bonkers, right? So she's not like trying to SEO optimize. And we can take a look. We can take a look. And here here's something else. We're going
Hi
to look
there.
at her comments. What do you notice about her comments? Anything stand out to you about her comments? So, what stands out to me is that she's not responding to any of her comments. She doesn't comment back. And it feels like people actually know her. You know what I mean? Like they're invested in her personal life, like happy birthdays. I've seen other comments of people asking about her dad, how her dad's doing. And, you know, I say all of this because this is aspirational in some cases for some of us. Aspirational to have people this invested in our channels. And I think one way to do that is to really just genuinely be yourself. But I was a little taken aback by the fact that she doesn't respond to any of her comments. And as far as I know, she doesn't have a community off platform. And these people are out of the goodness of their own hearts leaving comments and supporting her and encouraging her and telling her what they like about her videos. Um, so it's an interesting paradox, isn't it? She doesn't do any community posts. I think she's done 2 community posts. She doesn't do any live streams, right? You don't see her live streams at all. I don't think she has a YouTube membership set up at all. So you can't even become a channel member to support her. So there's just a lot of anomalies as it relates to her channel when you think of the traditional YouTuber trying to grow. My sense of it is, and I'll be complete, I don't know her at all. And this is just me speculating off the cuff, is is probably the kind of person that would be making these videos, whether she was getting 15,000 views or 5 views. Like she's just so purpose driven, so mission oriented that she's going to make these videos regardless. And that is such an admirable, um, I think, approach to take with YouTube. And sometimes, I think for me personally, I think I lose that. I think I lose that focus or that mission sometimes because I'm always trying to optimize for something. I'm always trying to improve for the algorithm or for engagement or for CTA. Like, you know what I mean? Like all of these things kind of cloud our judgment. But when you look at channels like hers, and I'll even use Carolyn as an example, who's in our community, you look at channels like Carolyn's, it almost feels to me like there's certain people out there that just are gonna make the content regardless. And when they do it the right way, when they do it in a way that's authentic to them, it really connects with people. And that's when the following starts to happen. So anyway, that's the that's the segment to guru or not to guru. And Jess is definitely not guruing and it's working out for her. She still works. I believe she still works a full-time job, so this isn't like her full-time thing. And she posts pretty regularly. I think she posts like every 3 days, every 2 days. And these are long form videos. I don't know how the hell she's doing it, but more power to her. And Jess, if you somehow see this video, you're doing amazing. Keep up the great work. And yeah, you're just an inspiration because it's really cool to see this. She's also a singer. She has a separate YouTube channel. She's a singer-songwriter. I think she's got like an album or something. It doesn't have nearly as many subscribers on it, but obviously multi-passionate, super talented, and it's just kind of crazy when you come across these channels that like kind of just blow you away. So I don't know. I thought I would share that. I think it's a pretty cool story to tell. Any lessons to be drawn? Anything? Any takeaways from our time looking at Jess? Let me know what you think. Maybe the lesson is don't overthink it. You know, just do what feels right. Trust your gut sometimes. That's always the lesson. Yeah. Don't overthink it. So there were some other questions that had come up in the community that I'm probably going to make a video about, but I thought maybe we chat about them here as well. And by the way, if you guys have any questions on anything, anything YouTube related, anything you're working on for your channel, feel free to throw it in the chat. And I apologize if I've missed any questions. Just if there was a question that I missed, just repurpose that, resurface that question. Let me know because I want to make sure I get to your questions. Yeah, okay, so takeaways. She does what she loves to do. Yeah, exactly. Not overthinking, trusting your gut. Do longer videos and make it FaceTime style. Yeah. That's a possibility, right? Um, she doesn't obsess over the analytics, probably. That's probably true. I can't imagine if she's putting in any thought to the analytics. Sage says, I've decided to not make any money at it, just going to do it regardless. And yes, the algorithm doesn't need SEO. I think you're right in a way. I think if you're making content that's really geared for search, then you probably need to optimize. But at the same time, as long as you have a good script that hits those keywords, that talks about the things that you intend people to find when they search for the content, then you're absolutely right. I mean, for Jess, her videos probably pop up in all of her viewers and subscribers' feed, and they're just like instantly, I'm gonna click and watch that video. Deb says, my friend was telling me about a channel of someone magnet fishing. What is magnet fishing? It has over 1 million subs and they don't even talk in the video. I don't even know what magnet fishing is. That sounds interesting. But yeah, I guess the moral of the story is like there's so many different ways to grow a YouTube channel. And some of them don't even involve you being the primary subject on camera. I mean, we know about AI faceless automation channels, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like real life things. And maybe here, let me show you another example. I've been watching this one channel that does all of this really interesting camping. It's like luxury, bougie camping. You guys have probably seen videos like these. You see these guys here? Attic Family. They've got almost 4 million subscribers, you guys. And here's their videos. They post all of these like luxury bougie camping video, and they're all long, 30 plus minutes, and there's very little talking. It's mostly like the wife is filming, like she's got the camera, and then the husband is working on something, like he's setting up camp, he's like inflating the tent, he's chopping wood, he's putting wood in the oven, they're cooking food, they're like walking around, they even like watch movies. It's just very chill and subtle and just it's so relaxing to watch. And I've probably watched 3 hours of videos over the last 2 days alone just because I'm mesmerized by what they do, like their production. I'll put the link in the chat, you guys, in case you're in case you're curious to see what these guys do. But look at they get millions of views, and I guarantee you the companies that make these tents and all the camping equipment are just throwing themselves at this channel to go out and make content using their equipment. So, I mean, what an awesome experience, right? Anyway, they got some really cool tents. So if you're into this stuff, really cool channel to watch. Okay, got a question from The Science of Raising Horses. Do we overthink the description? I personally never read them as a YouTube user. Is it only for the algorithm? I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys read descriptions? I think I sometimes do, but probably not very often, to be honest. I don't think I spend much time in the descriptions. Um, we might be overthinking them, and it might not be as important as what's actually said in the video. So I guess it depends. Raising horses, like how much time are you spending on your descriptions? I don't spend a ton of time on mine. I probably spend less than 3 minutes total on my descriptions whenever I upload. So, but it's a good question. Lego's asking, what is the chair that I'm using? Oh, can you see that? It's by Secret Labs. Have you heard of them? It's like a gaming chair company. And I think it's important for those of you who are sitting at your desk all day, get a really good chair. Like two things that I advocate for: get a really good bed and a really good chair, because those are the things. Those are the things in your home that you probably spend the most time interacting with. So the company is called Secret Labs. Hope that helps, Lego. Uh-oh. Big Mayo says, magnet fishing, you're in for a treat. Do you have a channel you can send me, Deb or Mayo, on magnet fishing? Because I've never even heard of that. Okay, so Jace brings up an interesting point, and hopefully I didn't throw you guys through a loop when I showed you Jess's channel. I don't want to discourage you from following best practices or doing your due diligence and researching things. I think it's important to stay close to the best practices and to try to implement things that you're learning. As long as you're like, insofar as you're being really intentional with trying to grow your channel, right, and build a business around it. But if you feel passionate about doing something and you're going to do it regardless of the views or the subscribers or the watch time or the monetization, then I would say do it. Like lean into your passion and your creativity if that gives you the most joy. If you're not worried about building a channel and making money from it, then lean into your joy. That's my recommendation. If you are intentional about building a business, then it probably makes sense to follow the guidelines and the best practices, because that's going to probably increase your chances of growing, because you could go off on a tangent and spend 3 years trying to grow a channel doing some novel creative approach that might never hit. So, Jace, I hope that was maybe a little bit of clarification. I don't think Jess's example should really make you want to upend your complete strategy. Sherry's just saying, I don't feel the usual YouTube growth advice works for me because I can't bring myself to use AI thumbnails and titles. So this gives me hope. Yeah. Yeah. I think there's always going to be an audience on YouTube who wants that more human connection. And I was actually talking to somebody earlier about, um, I feel like with all of the AI stuff happening right now on YouTube, and I know you guys are seeing it, right? Veo 3 is out, and there's like all these AI generated shorts. There's gonna be a flood, in my opinion. There's gonna be a flood of YouTube AI generated content, and there already are long form videos on YouTube that use full AI avatars of the principal creator. I watched a video today, a 9-minute video, and it was a talking head video just like I do, and it was an AI avatar of the actual creator. And I watched the whole thing. I watched all 9 minutes of it, and I didn't really mind. I didn't really care all that much. Um, am I offline? I didn't really care all that much. Sorry, guys. I think I'm having some connectivity issues. But all that to say, it's coming. I think there will be a crowd that is fine with it, and there will be a crowd that has like a repulsion to it. And so if you're in the mindset of I always want to be me, I want to be authentic, I don't want an avatar, I want my natural voice, then cater to the crowd that wants that kind of information or that wants that style of video because I think YouTube is almost going to I feel like there's gonna be a compartmentalization of AI content and non-AI content. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, I'm a little behind you guys, sorry. So back to the conversation about reading descriptions. It seems like most of you don't read descriptions. Yeah. Right, exactly. Sage makes a good point. If someone has something interesting and they put it in the description, like, sign up for the newsletter, that's when I'll go down there. So Jane does read descriptions. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, I think we're a little bit mixed. I think most people don't read descriptions. I mean, I certainly don't. So Francisco has a question. It is if your goal is to sell digital products, etc., what is your take on doing long form videos versus short form since AdSense income is not as critical? It's a great question. It might depend on the product because I know there are people on Instagram who, with their short form content, can do a pretty good job of converting people into sales of their digital products. However, my stance is that long form video is almost always better than short form video in building trust with your viewer. And I maintain that people purchase from people that they trust. So if you can build trust through long form video and you can point people towards a digital product and you can even demo some of the digital product in your long form video, then you might have a better chance of converting people. The problem though is short form video tends to get better reach so you can potentially get more eyeballs, but the viewer might not have as much skin in the game and they may not know you. And also, I would say more generally, younger people tend to watch short form video. So if your digital product is geared towards an older demographic, then you may not convert through short form video. Does that make sense? Hopefully, I explained that okay. So, in essence, I prefer long form because people get to know you and trust you. But, your mileage may vary. Let's see. The Confidence Edit is asking, is everyone here a YouTuber? It's a good question. Let us know in the comments. Are you guys all YouTubers? I am. I think that's pretty obvious. Uh Joe Unfiltered super chat. Thank you. Oh my gosh, that's so nice of you. I really appreciate you being here. I don't know if we've met. If we have, I apologize, but I it's good to have you here in the chat. Thank you so much for the super. Um wait, oh, okay, we did work together. Wait, who are you? You learn nice. Well, thanks for watching the channel. Good to see you here on YouTube. Good old corporate days. Oh man. Are you still at the big red? Let me know. Is it weird that I'm like kind of reluctant to say what my previous job was? Do people talk about their old life when they're now on YouTube? I used to work for Verizon for almost 20 years. For those of you who are not in the US, it is a large national telecommunications provider, most widely known for wireless connectivity. So, smartphones, tablets, internet solutions, things of that nature. But yeah, that was my previous life. I did that for almost 2 decades, and I have to say I loved that company. I loved working there, but I just had an itch to get out and do something different. So that's what we're doing right now. That's what I'm up to. So let's see. Just checking out the chat. Looks like a lot of yeses to the question about are we YouTubers? Yeah, we got a lot of YouTubers up in here. Oh, Tian, you guys work with Verizon. Interesting. I'd be curious to know what capacity. So the confidence edit just started 3 months ago. So first of all, congratulations on getting started. Um, good on ya. Good on ya. And I'm just now realizing that we need to get to our channel review for Mohit. So we're gonna do that now because I see Mohit still in the chat. Let me grab the channel. I hope I'm saying your name right. Please correct me if I'm butchering your
You're not
name.
lazy.
All right, so here's the deal. We're gonna pull up Mohit's channel and we're gonna completely trash it. I'm kidding. Of course, we're not going to trash it. We're going to be nice. We're going to give him some honest feedback and let him know how we think he's doing and if we have any tips or pointers. And I'm going to lean on you guys too. Put your comments in the chat. Let me know what you think about his channel and if you have any tips or anything that you love about it, and we'll kind of go from there. All right. So we got Jim over 30. So what do you guys think the channel is about? Like first impression as you glance at it, what comes to mind? What do you think he's up to on his channel? All right, so we've got love the channel description. Exercise. Okay, cool. I think it's pretty straightforward. Deb says working out over 30 years old. Yup. Exercise advice for over 30s. What do you think the vibe is? Like, how does it make you feel? Because that's important. Do you guys ask yourself that question when you look at your own channel? It's like, how do I make people feel when they come to my channel? That might be more of an advanced thing to think through, but in time, that might be something to explore. Um, yeah, I think it's super clear what the channel is about. Having the age in there speaks directly to a demographic. Cool and relaxed vibe, casual, not a gym bro. Okay, that's important, right? Because what do people typically associate with workout or gym culture, right? They think of gym bros. So this is almost like at face value, it's a bit of a contrarian take on a workout channel. Safe and nurturing, chill vibe. Okay, so Rambler, no worries, you can't really see it. Food and exercise, it feels simple. Chilled Q&A style. Okay, that's another new observation. I like it. And so, Mohith, as you're hearing these first impressions about your channel, question you should be asking is that what I'm going for? Is this the vibe I'm going for? Is this the way I want people to feel when they come to my channel? Carolyn says Alex Hermosi. Okay. I think she might be a little cheeky on that one. Um, so interesting. All right, we're going to look at the description. Click into the description and we see an email address. We see, hi, I'm Mohith. I help regular people over 30 build a fun, sustainable, and shame-free relationship with fitness. That is such an interesting take. Interesting angle. Something that I don't know. I'm trying to think about that for a minute. Do you guys ever feel like there's an association with shame and working out, um, I'll tell you personally, I never go to a gym ever. And I think part of it is just the intimidation of feeling like I don't know what the hell I'm doing and I don't want to look dumb. Maybe that's not what he's suggesting with shame free, but that's something that prevents me from going to the gym. And plus, I'm lazy. So there's that. So we've got his channel trailer, which is right here. Yeah, feels like a regular person. Channel trailer, which is nice. So that's a nice touch to the channel. I think it helps create this like air of professionalism, right? You're introducing yourself to the viewer. It auto plays. It might be a bit long for a channel trailer. Sometimes channel trailers are just a few minutes or even like 30 seconds to a minute. This, I believe, is this your first
Yeah.
video? It may just be one of the videos on the channel. Hold on. Oh, I lost it. But yeah, I mean, a channel trailer can usually be shorter. But if you repurpose one of your long forms, no big deal. Em has a question really quick as we're looking at this channel. She says, where do you include email address? Do you? I haven't because I feel like it would just invite spam, but I'm thinking about moving into coaching. I will need to, oh yeah. Okay. So Em, for coaching, you would just need to include a Calendly link. You don't need to include your email, but I have my email in there, by the way. I get a little bit of spam. I get those SEO people reaching out and I get the people who want to optimize my thumbnails. I just ignore them. It's not that huge a deal. You don't have to put your email right here like he does. You can have it behind this verify email address thing. But I also have my email in my description of all my videos. It's my business email. So, okay. So first impressions, Mohit, I think we got a lot of really good feedback on how people feel about the channel and what they're seeing. Let's take a look at the thumbnails. First observations on thumbnails. What do you guys think? My first impression is simplicity. Yeah, M says easy. That's a great adjective. Simple, consistent, which I think is great because you're essentially creating a lot of brand awareness. Now, if I'm understanding what Carolyn is saying correctly, he's not moving as in fitness. Um, I'm wondering, and Mohit, this might be something to explore and consider. Do you have any competitors that are doing something similar, where it's like gym related content, workout related content, but they're maybe not showing their workouts? Like, are you showing your workouts at any of your videos? Maybe you are. Yeah, I think right here, like you've got B-roll of your workouts, I believe, in your videos. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. But I think the primary format is you sitting in a chill, relaxed environment, being encouraging and just like providing pointers, and then maybe you show B-roll of the workouts. Let me know if that's a fair assessment. But it could be if you want to alternate thumbnails, um, if you include some sort of action photo in your thumbnail. So I think one thing that grabs attention in thumbnails is movement or or perceived movement. You know what I mean? Like if you're like um, I don't know, mid motion doing something, mid squat or mid, like whatever types of exercises you're doing, if you can kind of imply that there's motion, sometimes people love clicking on that because they want to see the actual thing. Now that might be a completely different style that, you don't necessarily want on your channel, but something to think about. But I do like that there's a lot of consistency with the thumbnails. It almost looks like all of these videos were shot in a single session. I think the hat's changing, right? But the shirt might be staying the same, potentially. You're changing the hat color. I think maybe the text could be a little bit bigger. but I will say it's not overly wordy with the text, which is good. And then what do we think about the titles, you guys? Oh, and by the way, I don't know if I thanked you, Rambler. I appreciate the super. Uh, I don't even know what to say, you guys. I'm happy. So thank you for that. Thank you for the encouragement. So, what do we think about the titles? I think they're short. Well, I would say there's some short and there's some long ones, but it feels like maybe there's some intention behind the word count or the character count, which is nice. So that's a good thing. Um, I would say though, I don't know if they are all that curiosity inducing at face value, but again, it might just depend on your approach, on your strategy. You might not be trying to be this like over the top, hyper embellishing, clickbaity. And I don't want to say clickbaity like you're going to deceive your viewer. I just mean like, you know what I'm talking about. Like this kettlebell exercise will change your life. Like you might not be in a position to say that. It might not feel aligned or authentic to say that, but it's a sad truth that on YouTube, your videos are competing with other videos that are saying this is the best kettlebell exercise you'll ever do. It's going to make you shredded. Like it's a bullshit claim, right? We all know that, but those people are getting the clicks. So the question is, and we've talked about this in previous streams, is like, how do you marry the demands of the algorithm and what makes people click with your own authenticity and align it to what feels real and true for you? So maybe early on, you just lean into what feels normal and authentic and real. And then as you have more experience with this topic and as you maybe get different results with different approaches and different strategies with your workouts, then you can really lean into some of these more, I don't want to say like embellished, but more authoritative titles. You know what I mean? Like as you do it more, as you gain more confidence, you can become more authoritative in the title. But you can also continue to lean into the how I did something, how I stay focused, how I do this routine, how my morning routine keeps me energized. Like you can lean into that how I did something because people do, I think, like hearing from other people's real experience and how they're doing something versus just being told whatever cookie cutter advice there is out there on YouTube. Because there's a million different channels telling people the right way to do something, right? But if you share the way that you're doing it, then that might be new and novel for people. Hopefully that makes sense. I know that was a bit of a ramble. But let's look like how long have you been posting? 2 months. Okay, you guys, what do we think? 723 subscribers. I mean, here's a question, Mohit. Did you get all these subscribers over the last 2 to 3 months? Because if so, that's really, really good. Really good. We got some community posts. Looks like you're posting every day. Yeah. Jeez. Okay, so very engaged, very active. This is exactly what you want to do, right? You want to just show up as often as you can and just try to be helpful. And that will be rewarded in time. It's not always obvious early on because you're putting in all of these reps to, workout pun, right? You're putting in all of these reps and you might not see the results for a half a year even, but things start to snowball. You got a lot of playlists. This is good. Mindset related personal stories, fitness culture critiques. Okay, this could be something that you lean into a little bit harder. Let's see what videos you have in here.
Please
Stop listening to okay, here we go. And stop watching YouTube for fitness. Okay. So here you
please
are
stop listening to Hollywood.
almost going against the grain and being a little bit controversial or adversarial. And of course, you're probably doing it in a very respectful way, which is great. Keep that up. But I think one thing people are attracted to on YouTube is contrarian takes. Like you ever see those YouTube videos where it's like, stop listening to YouTube gurus, they're lying to you. Like that probably catches your attention. So I think that's an angle to lean into, is like, if there are things in workout culture, in YouTube workout culture, that you can pick apart and dismantle and establish it as a myth or incorrect, or here's why you shouldn't follow this kind of advice. If you can do that in a bold way, then that'll attract a lot of people. Okay, so Claudio's asking about outliers. And apologies if I'm really behind, you guys. So we got working out is harder over 30. Yeah. So you're basically addressing a pain point of the difficulty that comes with age. Probably a very relatable sentiment for a lot of people. So there's no surprise why that one would have a good chunk of views. Yeah, I mean, I would say like your view count's pretty good for the number of subscribers that you have. Any other observations, you guys? Hey, what's up, Andre? Good to see you, man. Yeah, I mean, Mohit, I think the channel looks great. I think you're off to a great start. I wouldn't tell you to change to anything really. Maybe if anything, just the text a little bit bigger on the thumbnails, but that's just like a small tweak. And honestly, with 15 videos, you are still just getting started, right? So, when you get to 30, 40, 50 videos, let's imagine for a moment you keep the same format that you're doing now, which certainly you can if you want to. But maybe there are certain topics that you discuss or certain ways that you package that you start to see patterns, and you start to say, okay, my viewers really resonate with this style of content. Then you can bring those topics back for more unique angles or spins, or maybe like a little mini series on it, things like that. I think it's good too to address questions. Like I think you've done that in a few of your videos, is Q&As. You could even turn these into live streams too, by the way. So food for thought there, if that's something you're interested in doing. And that really helps with community building. Ask me how I know. Yeah, Jace, not too bad with only 15 videos. Andre says 724 subs with 15 videos is really good. I would say absolutely. Yeah, good question. I don't know. Do we still have Mohit in the chat? I'm wondering if he's still here. Yeah, I agree. But well, actually, let's see something here. The channel was started in 2017. Em, I think you just mentioned that, right? So we don't necessarily know if all of these subscribers came from. Actually, here we can probably figure out.
Stop watching.
We're going to be detectives right now, you guys. We're going to go and we're going to use the vidIQ tool here. We're going to go to overview and subs. And okay, yeah. So basically, look, he got all of his subs. He had about 100. He had about 100 subs. You guys can see this, right? January, February of this year. And then subs started to really take off. So this to me looks like it all came from his current videos, right? But that's confusing because it's 2 months old. So why would he be starting to get views in February? Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. We might need to hear more from Mohit. Yeah, Nanad has a great point. Address the viewer in the title to get more views. Looks like the subs maybe came from one big outlier, but I don't really see a huge outlier. Like I see one outlier of 3,000 views. That would definitely spike viewership. subscriber count, I mean. But yeah. So, anyways, all in, I would say the channel looks great. Branding's on point. The vibe is on point. The topic is on point. You got a lot going for you. And I think it's just stay the course and continue to refine and get better with the topics and just learn as much as you can from your viewers and you'll be in good shape. And of course, just remember, you guys know this. With everything YouTube, it is it's a slog. It's a multi-year project to do this and to do it right and to gain a real following and to I think to find your voice and gain confidence. So be patient with yourself because it's not going to come overnight. So thank you for volunteering to be on the hot seat. All right. Anything that I missed, you guys? Any questions that I forgot to get to? And thank you, by the way, for all the feedback. I think a lot of this stuff it goes a long way when people hear from the broader group about what their channel looks and feels like. So thanks for being open. Um, so speaking of growing on YouTube, this question came up in the community, and the question was, what's the best way to stay patient with YouTube growth? So for those of you who aren't in the community who would not have seen that question come up, I want to know from you guys, what are some ways that you try to stay patient with YouTube growth and growing your channel? Do you struggle with that? Are you impatient? Or do you feel like, you're relaxed, you're chill, it doesn't get to you? Be curious your thoughts on that because I think it's a struggle for a lot of people. And I'll be honest, even for me, I'm pretty impatient most of the time. So I have to be intentional about reminding myself to not be impatient and to, yeah. So like 60 plus and Sophie says, remember why you started. I think oftentimes we can forget why we started, right? Like we have this grand idea of what we want to do. And then the more we do it, the more we try to finely tune and optimize everything. And then all of a sudden, a month, 2 months, 3 months goes by, and we're like, shoot, why does this feel like work? Why does this feel like drudgery? And in my mind, it shouldn't feel that way. It should feel joyful. It should feel like when you get out of bed in the morning, like, I want to do this. I want to get to my comments. I want to get to my next video idea. And sometimes it's hard to feel that. Sometimes it's hard to get out of bed and to feel that motivation. So I think you got to like constantly reorient yourselves a little bit with mindset and again community, which we've talked so much about, is like putting your putting yourself in the middle of a bigger YouTube conversation, because every now and then someone is going to chime in and say, I feel like shit about my progress, and then you're going to have 10 other people swarm them and be like, dude, it's cool, you're doing all the right things, just keep pressing forward. What's your next video that you're working on? Let's give you feedback. It's just like being helpful and generous with your input and your time. So, but it takes intention, I think. Like you kind of have to like make a practice out of it. One of the things I did, because I'm a weirdo, on my calendar, I put this at the top of my calendar so that every time I look at my calendar, I'm reminded that I need to ask these questions. Who can I help this week and what problem can I solve? Right? That should be like the number one thing that's just like searing in my mind throughout the week. Who can I help this week and what problem can I solve? And I made a video about that, and I've probably droned on about this topic to many of you that you're so like tuned out, but this helps reorient me whenever I'm feeling impatient, and it helps me to be okay when I see stuff like this. So how do you guys feel when you see a 10 of 10 on your channel? You feel pretty shitty about it? I guess where I'm feeling pretty good right now is this 10 of 10, I didn't feel bad at all. when it showed up. And in fact, I'm okay. Like I'm actually happy about it because I know that this video is going to help somebody at some point. And it may have already helped people. In fact, some of the comments suggest it's already helping people, but it can potentially help people for a year to come because it's like an evergreen search-based video on how to set up a live stream. So that's what's keeping me sane and not getting upset over a 10 of 10. I also know that tutorial videos on my channel never do well. So I think, you can give yourself the space or like, just allow yourself to have 10 of 10s because not every video is going to be viral or be, super impactful. So that's me rambling for a bit. Thank you for indulging me. Um, Rambler says, listen to Ty. Very, very direct. Andre, I love this. From my own experience, expect nothing, be happy about any growth, and truly enjoy the process. Yeah, and I think for a lot of people that becomes out of reach. And the point is to constantly go grab it and pull it back in. Carolyn, we need to talk about this because that's not cool. We can talk offline about that. Mystic Earth Journey says, I remember that we are growing roots of a tree. Everything we do is growth of our tree. Yes, and oftentimes you do not see the results the minute you plant a seed or establish a root. It takes a long time for things to actually grow. Big Mayo says, honestly and embarrassingly, when I first started my other channel, I slept terribly for 2 months, kept waking up to check the analytics. Show of hands, who's obsessed about their analytics? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you are obsessed with your analytics. And it's okay to be vulnerable. This is a safe space. No one's going to judge you except for me. I will definitely judge you. I'm kidding. But I might encourage you to delete the YouTube Studio app from your phone because it can be a giant time sink. Again, ask me how I know. uh, Tian really likes the scripting and filming part, but not so much the editing part. Yeah. I keep telling people the moment you start making any money from YouTube, hire a video editor. Just get that crap off of your plate. And honestly, I'm probably going to do it sooner than later. I'm probably going to start hiring an editor in the next month or so. Yeah. How can I help this week? I feel like I'm really behind on the comments. So any questions on any of this idea about being impatient or trying to find the mindset to remain patient? Because I really feel like YouTube tactics aside, the most important thing with doing YouTube and really with any creative or vulnerable endeavor you take on in life, the most important thing is mindset and staying in a positive and optimistic mindset, staying in this like happy warrior, always moving forward, never feeling defeated for too long type of mindset. And the problem with YouTube is the analytics and the views can very easily put you down and make you feel terrible about whatever progress you're trying to make. It's a blessing and a curse, right? To have the data and to be able to internalize it objectively and take action on it is amazing. But for most people, it's very difficult to separate the data from our personal feelings, our feelings of self-worth, or how we like the capabilities we think we have, or our ability to succeed. So you definitely gotta compartmentalize it as best we can. uh Cherish every comment. I love that. So Jane's got a question. Jane loves to shop says, I'm so close to 4,000 watch hours, but it seems like I'm at a standstill. Is YouTube messing with me? I feel like you might be asking that kind of kind of cheeky, but I would say no, YouTube's not messing with you. Jane, here's a question for you. Have you been posting for more than a year? If so, you might be losing watch time hours. That's a question. Secondly, have you considered doing live streams? Because that can really help with watch time. Be curious your thoughts on that. You are definitely not normal. And I mean that in the most endearing way possible. You keep me on my toes because you ask all of these really intricate, nuanced analytics questions, and I'm like, oh, I hadn't even thought of that. That's an interesting one. And yeah, I don't know the answer to any of them, but it's good to hear how other people are thinking about the analytics. So keep them coming. Did you guys know there's also a new advanced mode in the analytics in the YouTube studio? Some of you might already have it. Some of you don't. I don't yet. But there's going to be the ability to, I believe they're going to be able to save custom views. So if you have a specific view that you like to look at in the advanced mode, you can then save it and then you can come back to it without having to play with all the filters all over again. I don't have it yet either, but some of the other channels that I'm an admin for, they do have it. So once I get it on mine, I'll be sure to share it with everybody. And raising horses, yes, live streams generally can help with watch time because they're long format, as you know, and people spend a lot of time. As long as you're like, contributing and engaging and keeping people interested, it can definitely have a positive impact on your watch time. So I highly encourage you to explore it if you have not yet. It does not seem size related because there are smaller channels that have the advanced mode than mine, and I don't have it. Yeah, Mike, I'm very impatient. Still have a 9 to 5 job, and weather hasn't been cooperating. Yeah. How many of you guys out there are juggling YouTube with your 9 to 5 full-time job, or maybe you're a full-time caregiver, or you have some other thing that's essentially a full-time job in your life? Let me see how many of you are in that situation, because I was in that situation for about 4 months. When I first started till November of last year, I was doing YouTube and my full-time job. I was lucky though because I got to work from home, my full-time job, and then I could film at home. So everything I needed was sort of all together, and it was still a lot. It was still a lot of work. So for those of you who have to commute, and then for those of you who need to be on location to film for your YouTube channel, I don't I don't know how the heck you do it, especially if you got kids and other things, because I uh I tuned a lot of things out. Social life was gone. Um and I just kind of laser focused in on it, and it just chewed up all my time. So I give you guys a lot of credit for those of you who can manage your time in that way, because it's something that I don't think I would ever have been able to do long term. Yeah. Jace is working right now. Deb, yeah, you're working. Deb, you're a hustler. You got all kinds of jobs back and forth, and you still make time. I don't know how you do it. Nanette, I know you work. You got a full-time job. Rachel, I would say Rachel has a full-time job, but I don't feel like she works. I'm just kidding. I know you work, Rachel. Rambler's got a job. Yep. Izzy doesn't like it when you work. Aw. We need some more Izzy in your videos. Have you brought Izzy in more? And I'll be honest, I haven't seen any of your recent ones, but based on our conversation from last week, Feels to me like the chat really loves dogs. So use the dogs to your advantage. I think people love pets in videos. Monique, commuting is from the bedroom to the living room. I love it. Yeah. 60 plus and Sophie's working right now. Yeah. So I think most of us have these full-time jobs and or other things in life that prevent us from doing YouTube, but it's tough because a lot of people on YouTube who we're competing against, they're laser focused. They're obsessing 24/7. Whether that's good for them or not is to be seen. I think someone mentioned like YouTube definitely it's easy for it to become an obsession and it's a double-edged sword because on one end, obsessing over something and getting really specialized can lead to really great results and becoming a subject matter expert and growing a channel and making an income, but at the risk of everything else, right? Like if you are tuning out friends and family, if you're not there for your partner or whatever, then that can become a huge drag. So it's tough to balance. I wish I had a good silver bullet answer for anyone who's struggling with that. Maybe that could be a topic of conversation in another video, but it's definitely a thing. Thank you guys, by the way, for being open and vulnerable about some of this stuff because I know it's not always easy to admit when we are obsessing over the analytics or, like just struggling to keep all of our priorities aligned. Um, yeah. So let me ask: is there anyone in the chat that would like me to pull up their channel to do another little mini channel audit? So I think we've got some new faces in the chat. Anyone want to volunteer? And we'll crowdsource some suggestions, some feedback, some ideas. If not, no big deal. I do have another question I can pose to you guys, but I thought we might take a little look. Carolyn, are you volunteering? I feel like Carolyn's channel is awesome. Okay, Carolyn's volunteering. Ooh, Lego, how did it go? What advice did you end up implementing and how is it going so far? Yeah, but if we get to listen to music, Nanad, it would be amazing. So here's Carolyn's channel, you guys. Carolyn is the little old lady who could and did and does. Any first impressions? When you go to Carolyn's page, anything stand out to you? What do you think when you see it? And by the way, who's all seen Carolyn's channel before? I'm curious if you're familiar. Love the name? Okay. Audacity training with Mike. Hey Mike, welcome. I don't know if we've met before. Good to have you though. Love the name. Yes. It's encouraging, right? It's kind of like modest and humble, but also yeah, I think encouraging is the right word. Okay, so I don't know what the channel is about, but love the title. Okay. I think that's fair. I think that's fair at all. Um, okay, so Mayo wants to look at the channel description. So here's the channel description. We've got a big wall of text. So Carolyn, one thing I might recommend, can you break this up a little bit into maybe a couple paragraphs? Just for readability, I mean, I don't think it's a huge deal. I just, my first when I see a lot of words like that, I'm like, ugh, I don't want to read it. That's just me though. I might be a weirdo. Yeah, okay, the title makes me wanna jump in and look at some of the videos. Okay, good. So it's, like, appealing, makes you wanna learn more, makes me wanna sit down and have a conversation. Cool. Yeah, okay, so Big Mayo is saying, "I think the description should start with 76-year-old herbalist who traded." Yeah, I mean, because this right here, hold on, why can't I highlight that? I think that's I think that's the hook, you know, because we're basically saying who we are and where we are in life and what our area of expertise is, right? And then the action you took. You traded American retirement for a grand adventure in rural I can't say that word, rural France. So I think that's a good I like that. That's a good suggestion, is put that bold hook as maybe the first sentence. Yeah, that's the juice. Good call out. I love when Carolyn tells this story about how her children thought she was crazy. And then this could be the start of a new paragraph right here. And in some cases, some of these sentences could be their own individual line because a lot of them are very compelling in their own right. But when they're bundled like this, I think the impact is lessened. So that's just my take. But this is great, right? It's very descriptive. People that read this will know exactly what you're up to. If anyone agrees or disagrees, let me know, but I think the description tells the story quite well. Now, she's got her links in here. Got a lot going on with these links. So we've got a GoFundMe for her stairwell. We got I think this is your freebie, right? Your lead magnet. So from hearth to table, traditional French fireplace cooking. So this is a free lead magnet that she gives to people signing up on her newsletter, which is pretty cool. Buy me a coffee, crowdfunding. She got an Amazon storefront, which with wish list items. And then French Connection is the organization that helped her with her relocation, is how I understand it. And then she's got her YouTube channel subscription right here. Okay, cool. No channel trailer, but I don't think it's really needed. And then we've got our homepage that has basically algorithmic curated videos that it thinks I'd be interested in, followed by all of her videos shown chronologically, shorts and past live streams, and then playlists. So that's cool. Let's take a look at thumbnails. What first stands out to you on the thumbnails? Okay. Old rose theme color. Yeah. Consistent across the board. And so normally the advice I would say is some of these feel like they are from a Canva template and people might subconsciously recognize those. So I would say try to get rid of the Canva template. But in Carolyn's case, I'm not going to tell her to do anything because Carolyn is crushing and I wouldn't want to disrupt her flow and how her audience connects with her thumbnails because I think there's a certain charm to still using like templates that people could grab in Canva. And it's working for her. She's getting a lot of views. So there's really we don't need to change things if it's not broken. You know what I mean? So one piece of feedback is still not getting any idea what it's mostly about. Okay. What do you think it's about, raising horse, if you had to guess? Yeah, different ways of succeeding. Absolutely. And 60 plus and Sophie, yeah, at 63, this is super encouraging. I've been stressing that I'm just too old to do YouTube, not anymore. I would encourage you to not let age be a restriction because there's a lot of examples of older creators who are doing really well. And I will also say, if you guys don't already know this, between 2024 and 2027, so we're like smack in the middle, those 3 years are the 3 years where the most baby boomers will be turning 65. So we're kind of like, we're at the peak of people turning 65 years old. And most people at 65 are either fully retired or partially retired. And so what that means is that there is more potential baby boomer viewership to be had on YouTube, meaning there are more people in their 60s who are going to be watching more YouTube potentially. So if you are in that demographic and you have a shared life experience, then there's a lot of people who might be interested in your content. So be assured that there's a large viewership in that age range. So M says I like the test on videos 2 to 4. Oh, the text on videos 2 to 4 much more than the recent. The which ones? These ones? Or sorry. So maybe it's the new thumbnail style that you're not overly thrilled with. It's definitely different. Definitely a different style. So for Carolyn, for this last video, my thought would be, it's certainly good to experiment with other thumbnails. Feel free to make these letters bigger and maybe make the spacing in between the words a little bit less, if that makes sense. So there's not as much space in between. At least that's just like my gut reaction. And if you can make them fatter somehow, like bolder. Okay. So here's an interesting gut reaction from Raising Horses. The initial impression of the channel is that it's art and delicate stuff like flowers and personal growth. Okay. And that's without having watched any videos. So that's kind of like what your gut tells you. I think if we scroll down a little bit, you might see a little bit more about the early journey on Carolyn's channel. The first video really sets the stage, in my opinion. It's about how she bought a house for 23 euros in rural France. And it's an old stone home from the mid 1800s, I believe. And then that's like the kickstarting of the journey of like this transition from American life into French life and doing this large renovation project. Everything else sort of stems from that in a way. So this one might give it away too, like My Dream French Cottage Journey from Idaho to Rural France. Like that's a very descriptive title. But so yeah, Carolyn, just food for thought, right? I mean, you might take that into consideration where people coming to your channel might not necessarily know exactly what it's about. But also at the same token, not a lot of people are just clicking into people's channels, They're usually watching a video or three before they even get to your channel page. So by watching those videos, they really do get a sense of what your channel is all about. So it might not be really the most important, like the first impression of the channel page might not be the most important thing, in other words. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So just the difference in titling and packaging is like some of them are more descriptive than others, and that's okay. But Carolyn, I think all in, again, I would be reluctant to give you a ton of feedback because I think what you're doing is working really well. And I think you've got great instincts. And I think you should trust your gut and continue telling your story and continue to lean into your audience, which I think absolutely loves what you're doing. And if there are things that you're hearing from them that is encouraging you or inspiring you for different content ideas, I think you can certainly lean into that as well. Live streams, I think you just started doing live streams, right? So you got the one. And look at this, you guys. This is crazy to me. She has 10,000 views on a live stream, and it's an hour long live stream with 10,000 views. Do you have any idea what that's doing to her watch time? It is blowing up her watch time. Carolyn, I hope you've turned well, you're not monetized yet, but you will be soon. We need to talk about that. So she's also doing shorts, and I think you're using Opus clips for shorts. Carolyn, correct me if I'm wrong. And Carolyn, what's your live stream strategy? You can do one a week? Okay, you're using Nexus clips. But, getting thousands of views on shorts, which is great. And look at these shorts thumbnails too. The food ones are pretty, yeah, they're pretty clickable. So all in, I think, you got really good instincts, and you're a very well-researched person, having talked to you and having been around you. So you put in a lot of work, and I think you just continue to trust the level of research that you do and how you implement, because the sky's the limit. Lightning struck twice, I like to say when I talk about your channel. So thank you for volunteering. Anyone else? Anyone else got a channel they want me to take a look at? Get some feedback from the crew? Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, and Tien made a good comment too about people say that it takes a certain amount of hours for them to warm up to you and to trust you. And it's almost like, when in my old corporate life, we would talk about sales and how many times should you reach out to a prospective client before they actually take your call. And it was like, you gotta do like 7 touch points, like phone call, leave a message, send an email, send them a message on LinkedIn, drop by the office and then leave them, like, leave them something. There's all these like different touch points you can do before people kind of cave. Now, of course, we're not trying to make our viewers cave, but it's the same principle where you have to show up many times, you have to spend time with them, hours upon hours, before they actually feel the connection to you. And at that point, then they're part of your crew, and that's a good thing. All right, so Sherry is saying, I might be brave enough in a couple of weeks. Okay, cool. Jackie, I see you are back. Didn't we do yours last week? Or am I misremembering? Let's pull in. Okay, I've got a lot of volunteers now. This is fun, you guys. All right, we got Jackie here. We got Latina Plants. First impressions. Let's go. What do you got? Okay, I don't know why. Oh, you know what it was? Because we were DMing back and forth, and I was looking at your channel. That's what I was thinking of. All right, we got Latina Plants. First impressions. I mean, I think it's pretty clear what her channel's about, right? We got some green stuff in the banner. We know it's going to be plant related because it's got plants in the title. Almost 5,000 subscribers, Jackie. You are getting there. And we've got a description, short and sweet. I like it. Here's the value prop. Here are the things you can expect on this channel. I love it. It's like a no nonsense way of telling people, here's what we do on this channel. Join me, right? Very warm, very approachable. Plant care meets cultura. I don't know that. Is that culture? Is that the Spanish pronunciation of culture? Proud Latina, sharing my love for houseplants, gardening tips, and all things green. Yeah, so pretty straightforward. Spicy twist, okay, I like it. Beginner, plant parent, or seasoned grower. Yeah. So Jackie, I think your description is super clean. I think it's really easy to know what you're up to and what your channel is about. So if I'm in this interest, then there's no mystery here for me. I know exactly what's going on. So Big Mayo is suggesting more of a hook. Big Mayo, do you have an idea of what that hook might look or sound like? I'm wondering if you're thinking of like a hook, almost like a video hook. It's like, hey, if you're sick of sad or sick plants, or if you're a plant hobbyist and you're, I don't know, interested in seeing what other plant mamas are up to, like, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. Is that kind of where your head's going, Big Mayo? Is like you're kind of like trying to generate a bit of a pain point with the hook, maybe? Curious your thoughts on that. Kind of like the little old lady? Yeah. Okay. Well, if you think of one, throw it in the chat. We got Reliable Bank Solutions back. Hey, good to see you. Welcome back. Welcome back. So let's take a look at the videos. First impressions. I see a lot of Home Depot logos. I think for me, yeah, this is a good point Em is making about see you later, Legos. Good to see you, man. Obviously, how we show up in our thumbnails and our titles is it really needs to work with our target viewer and the niche that we're in. So sometimes these one size fits all approaches, the YouTube guru advice on how to do a title and a thumbnail, they don't always work with every channel or every niche. So I say that with a little bit of context because M brings up that point. And also, yeah, you're thinking that too with the channel description. It's interesting because like we can go down that rabbit hole later, but coming back to first impressions on title and thumbnail for Jackie, I think it's pretty straightforward what the videos are about. A lot of it is these big box stores, right? And like what they have on offer. Talking about sales, shop with me, which I think is cool because you're bringing the viewer along for a journey. It's like they're kind of like living vicariously through you and what you're doing. Almost like that Jess channel we saw earlier where she's just kind of documenting working in the garden. Plant sales. Yeah. I think those ones, Jackie, we've talked about this in DMs. Like the Lowe's ones, the Home Depot ones, they get good viewership. Have you I can't remember if we talked about this. Have you done a Lowe's versus Home Depot? Like pitted the two together, like a confrontation, a standoff, and in the video you're gonna tell your viewers which one is best? People love those versus ideas. We got Dollar Tree, Five Below, Walmart, Houseplant Tour. Yeah, I mean, I think on his face, like first reaction, I think things look great. I think you're showing up in the thumbnails. There's not um I wouldn't say they're too busy, but I think in some niches that might work. Yeah, I would be curious too, and maybe this is something we can talk about offline, is like what the click through rate is on some of these. But it feels to me like for the number of subscribers you get, or for the number of subs you have, you're getting a pretty good amount of views for the most part. We would probably want to understand too if some of the videos that you're making are reaching newer eyeballs or mostly returning eyeballs. Yeah, but not too much text. Sometimes this kind of font is hard to read. This one down here. Let me get rid of M's comment. If you guys can see what I'm talking about, how to how to prop, what is that, cane begonias? That can be challenging to read. Some of these, like the text could pop out more. There's not enough contrast. Like this black lettering with the white shadow, or yeah, that's kind of hard to read. One thing you can think about doing, well, it just depends, kind of darken the background a little bit to let the text stand out a little bit more. Alternatively, you could just do it without text at all. And I think white text probably has the best chance of popping out. Sometimes the green text can kind of blend in, right? Like right up here, it's kind of hard to see. Even on this one here, it's white text with the green border. The green border almost makes it blend in a little bit more to the background. Okay, YouTube says you get more newer views. That's good. That's a good thing. Because maybe some of these topics are more broad appeal, right? Like the Home Depot, the Lowe's ones are more broad appeal. The plant haul and something like the house plant, or you have like a tour video, don't you, somewhere? Where was that? Like plant mail. That's for your that's a community based video, right? This one too, plant haul or plant swap, that's probably community based, if I'm guessing. House plant tour, community based, potentially. But I would think the other ones where you're, like, out and about at the big box retailers, those are things that people will gravitate towards because, um, they might be ready to buy plants themselves, and they might be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to Home Depot and get this plant." They can watch one of your videos to know if it's even available and if it's any good and what your perspective is on it. So, yeah, and I think, Jace makes a good point about, like, the fonts changing constantly. I think if you can land on a single font that's more bold, that's not cursive or stylized, that might help with readability, and then that becomes more familiar with people across the board. That's just my take. I will also say I'm not a thumbnail expert, so that's just my gut reaction. But I do like how you're including the logos, and they're pretty prominent, so it's, like, really, really eye catchy, I think. Any other thoughts, you guys? I know we are I know we're coming up right on 2 hours. I'm surprised we've gone this long. And I know there's several of you out there who still want to do a channel review. I'm gonna have to cut the live, but maybe next week we just do a channel review live stream where those of you who want to get your channel looked at, we pop up, we take a look at it, and we kind of go from there. But I want to just say thank you for you guys being here and hanging out with me. It's been a fun week once again. I feel honored and privileged that you guys will spend the time. So I'll let you get to it. Have a great. Oh, Prodigal, you didn't miss anything. Is Ellen still going, Prodigal? Oh, hey, Mike, no worries. Thank you for being here. Yeah, thanks, Em. It'll be cool. It's gonna be hot as heck here, but it'll be nice to have them. Yeah, so Ellen just finished, survived 2 crashes. Oh boy, okay. Well, yeah, thanks for coming back, and thank you guys for being here. Have a great weekend if I don't talk to you, and we'll reconnect on the other side, and if you're in a heat wave, stay out of the heat, stay hydrated, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much.